Hey there, Internet. Welcome to the Course for Nowhere. I'm your host, the Media Nomad. With me, as always, is the lovely Ivy and returning co-host DJ Arma Korth.
Hooray!
Oh
Hello.
wait, no, hold on, wait, I got that wrong. I have in my notes it's spelled Arma Korth, but it's pronounced Throat Wobbler Mangrove. So I'm sorry, Mr. Mangrove.
That's okay. I understand the need to wobble throats.
Is Monty Python too old for anyone to get that reference?
Oh, possibly.
No,
Well, no.
Monty Python's timeless.
It was a long time ago for me. I mean, I watched it too long ago to remember a lot very clearly. Just my favorite ones, like hand over your lupins and watch out, there's a lava in the water.
I remember,
my.
I was watching it on bootleg VHS back in the 5th grade, and it was old as fuck then. So I
Right.
can't imagine.
Yeah.
Is anyone gonna get that now, or is Holy Grail still something that middle schoolers will endlessly quote to each other?
I think Holy Grail is still popular enough. But yeah, back in my day, I was in middle school, slowly renting all of the Monty Python Flying Circus VHS they had at Cecil B's, the local video rental store.
Nice.
I know. At one point, we were lucky to get satellite, and they had BBC. They had one of the BBC channels.
Big Black Cock.
Yes, that was exactly the channel. British Broadcasting Company. And they would run all the reruns, and I realized half of Monty Python is really fucking amazing, but the other half just goes nowhere and makes no sense.
That's true. I mean, most of it's just experimental.
Yeah.
But the movies were pretty spot on. All of them.
Holy Grail was there's nothing really you can say about Holy Grail that hasn't already been said. And then at one point in middle school, I got the two other movies, Life of Brian, which is phenomenal, and then Meaning of Life, which is a lot, because it sketches a lot like the show, it's also a bit hit and miss. But there is a whole scene of women wearing nothing but skating pads and panties, jogging topless, and I was 13 when I watched this, and so it's wow, that's wonderful.
I gotta come from the other end of the ballpark and say Monty Python's The Meaning of Life was my favorite because it's got this, even though it's satirical the entire way through, when you watch it thinking as if it is the meaning of life, it makes sense in a funny way. It kind of goes through these phases that life sort of goes through as well. It's pretty hilarious.
I was one of the few viewers that really actually loved all of the crazy crap that didn't go anywhere and didn't make any sense in the Flying Circus. That was seriously my favorite part of it all. And but I never actually saw the Life of Brian. I did see Life of Brian, and just for years after, I had to stuff my face into my pillow when they got to the restaurant scene.
Oh no!
I was just oh god, make it stop, please. And we just, we're endlessly saying to each other after that, not even new waffles in
Oh my god. Yeah, and he has all the eggs. For anybody who doesn't know, in this movie, there's a part where an extremely obese man goes into a restaurant, and a bunch of talking-headed fish are watching him from the fish tank. And the waiter, who's John Cleese, comes up to get the man's order, and he asks for basically everything in the restaurant blended up in a bucket with eggs on top, and no skimping on anything because he'd know if anything was missing. Then he eats it all, and then he throws up like a lunatic, and then bursts open.
Well, it's the mix that makes it. He says he's full, and then John Cleese talks to him and says, just one waffle in mint. And that's what does it. He just throws it all up. And I can't help but think that must have inspired the Ipecac scene from Family Guy.
Quite
The Ipecac scene from Family Guy, absolutely.
Quite possibly, although I will say, your British accents are awful. I don't know if mine's any good, and I'm probably too self-conscious to do it now. But I know back in high school, I had a friend of mine and I, when we'd go to football games, and we would go to the away side, and we would convince girls that we were foreign exchange students to get phone numbers.
Wow, that is
So what would you do? Would you go up and be like, Scott there, love?
Oh,
Won't be
I
giving me
did a
some of
little.
them digits there, mate.
I did a little bit of British. British was the easiest one at the time, and I can't do it anymore. I don't know if I was always shite. Or if I just haven't done it because I'm an adult now. We like.
I'll say it's more likely the fact that you're an adult now and you don't usually use it very often around about you.
We like to do Russian though. We were undercover communists. Is less funny now. But he was Comrade Ivan. I'm Comrade Boris.
Did you actually get phone numbers from this?
Way more often than we should have. Like we didn't.
I can't imagine.
It's a really shitty thing to do now. I realize as a grown up, but we didn't. It never went past that. But
dude, childhood is all about doing shitty things you can't do when you're a grown up.
Right? Like it never.
I'm hyper proud of
you. Like
it
never went anywhere. It's usually like we'd chat up the birds, and then they'd give us a number, and then we would see how many we would get at the end of the night.
Wow. Yeah, that is terrible. I'd like to think that I wouldn't fall for that, but I probably would have.
I don't know. I don't know if we were good at it or if they were just dumb.
Probably a mixture of both.
Probably a little of both.
They may have just been humoring us.
They may have just thought you were funny to try. They're like, well,
maybe.
They're funny, so sure.
What little defense I can give for myself is that I felt too guilty to like try and hook up with them after because it's just like everything they know about me is a complete fabrication.
That does make it better, actually.
Yeah. Another thing we did is we would try and trip each other up to try and get the other to break character. Like one of us would when we were British this one time, he tried to trip me up by asking me questions about soccer.
Oh.
But I had seen Eurotrip, so I knew just to start talking about Manchester United and going "oi" a lot.
That's really all you need. Manchester United, oi, and don't forget about Arsenal or yeah, that's about it.
Oh man.
Lionel Messi.
No,
yeah, you got plenty of options there.
I can imitate a singer's accent while singing along with the song pretty well. But anytime I try to come up with something original to say with an accent, it never works out at all. I'm just really terrible at it.
You don't need an accent either. You can just be an idiot for a second and just like hold your nose up. And then just get a really weird voice going on and be like, hey guys.
So speaking of singing, another music episode. We got Daft Punk's Interstella 5555.
It's funny.
Yes, it's 4 5s.
In Japanese, the way they do it, it was Interstella 4 5. Which there's 4 5s there. So.
Right. They did the thing where the 5s are S's, and the proper title of the film is Interstella 5555, the story of the secret star system, with all of those S's replaced with 5s.
Yeah.
Except for the S in Interstella, because that would just be silly.
Exactly. And I think
who needs silly, right?
Last week, and we just grabbed onto it of like, oh, this would be a cool thing to do for another episode. Here we are.
Well, I think we gravitated to it because Voltron was a lot to get through, and so this was just an hour's worth of viewing, so it was really easy to plow through. It was kind of like a palate cleanser after the beast that was Voltron last week.
Yeah.
Now the real question is, will it take longer for someone to watch our podcast than it would for them to watch the actual video series?
Like, I don't...
I
mean, their time would be better spent watching the video series, which I guess brings that to intro, like back of the book summary, quick thoughts whether or not you should watch it, and then I guess we'll go past into spoilers. I'm not sure if you can really spoil Interstella 4 or 5.
I mean, it's a love story with a little plot twist. Yeah.
I don't know if I call it a love story. It's basically you have a band and they get kidnapped and brought to Earth to perform, and things happen from there.
But you're telling me that never mind. We'll get into it later. Yeah, that's it.
There's a few little plot twists. There's this whole thing about smuggling aliens to Earth. But yeah, it's the plot's not important. It's if you like Daft Punk, if you like electronica, chances are you've already seen it. But if you haven't and you just want to like chill out and watch something for like an hour with some awesome music and some really psychedelic visuals, go pick it up.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah,
say.
that sounds about right.
I wouldn't say personally for me it's as engaging as like an actual movie, and there are some parts that you kind of want something else to do, at least for me. But I think it is extremely interesting in how much storytelling they're able to do without a single line of dialogue, and you know, just how unique the whole setup is, and that yeah, it's something that's definitely worth checking out just because it's cool and interesting and different.
Yeah, so there we go. If you've got an extra hour to kill and you don't want something too mentally strenuous, go check it out. And I'm sure we all got completely legitimate copies, unlike some rapscallions who just looked it up on YouTube.
That's
right?
That's the best way to do
right?
it, is to actually purchase the good.
We don't condone any of this.
Right, yes. No, not at all.
No. So shame on all the scallywags
I'm not smoking weed right now.
Shame on all you scallywags who would look it up on YouTube rather than purchasing the official release.
We are well respected in the audio community, and we've got to keep sure that we maintain that respect, because a lot of people will be coming at us and say, hey, your podcast is really popular. We want to make sure that you're not breaking any rules here.
Right.
And we get audited on the reg. We have a lot of people come in and look at our content and make sure that all of our data on our computers is safe and clean. We had one case where somebody got busted with some questionable photos on his laptop, but it just turned out to be, people hanging upside down from trees with bat costumes on and no clothes. It was nothing really terrible.
What? Where did you go with that line of thought?
Anyhow.
Anyway, joke's on you, NSA. None of my porn's illegal. It's just really weird. Ha!
Now I want to find some people to like pay for their to use the
You know, it's a good thing we don't have an audience. Otherwise, someone might be encouraged to do that.
We could make so much
No.
money.
We absolutely need an audience for that.
Oh no!
So they would like flop down over your face, and you'd be like, "Blah, I'm going to suck your blood." Blah, and you'd have to part your boobs just to be able to like look menacing.
Yeah, you'd have me, and I'd have my boobs parted so that you can see my face.
I did not mean to derail anything there.
You know what? It's a good thing, because I checked our analytics, and our average listener doesn't go past the 3-minute mark. So we're at 14 right now, so no one's going to hear that.
Oh, it's... this is stuff that's hilarious. Every once in a while, just make the laugh.
Are they laughing, or are we just laughing because we're here?
We can make a B-roll of it or something later and then have like 10 minutes worth of just the worst things that were ever said on the podcast.
So, I guess if we get popular, then someone will do the supercut. Like I said, our total view count, because we were comparing analytics before the episode started, our total view count, period, on our YouTube channel is a grand total of 78.
You're going to remember this conversation when you're at the top. Started from the bottom, now we're still at the bottom, but you never, ever know.
Like, we're not even we don't even have like an actual podcast platform because we're too broke to afford the cloud storage fees.
Yay. But hey, great things come from the muck. Look at Drake.
Coming from the muck. Yes.
Like, what's beneath muck? Like, what's...
We're down in the anaerobic section, slowly but surely producing oil.
I would say that there's like the muck, and then there's the ground underneath the muck. Then there's the pebbles on the ground that were kicked up by the tires of vehicles driving by. And then there's the refuse and like actual fecal matter of raccoons. And then we are the worms in the fecal matter from the raccoons that's beneath the muck amongst the pebbles that were scraped over by the tires from the cars driving.
That was oddly graphic. Did you have that ready to go beforehand, or did you just make that up?
No, I just made that up.
It's sort of impressive, in a weird way. You should try.
Thanks.
You should try writing comedy novels.
Thank you.
It would
I just
be like
I don't even
experimental.
I don't usually write stuff. I just kind of like riff it and then record it and go, that sounds funny. And then I make a YouTube video with the video game in the background. And then I try to riff over it. And I'm like, I hate my life. And then I put it on YouTube. Maybe I should try writing it.
Dude, writing is hard.
Anyhow, Blue People.
Yeah, Blue People.
Every time I saw this Daft Punk video-esque thing, menage of beauty, I thought of I'm blue, I'm a D, I'm a die, and I'm a D, I'm a die, and I was just like, yeah. And the reason I thought of that was because a very, very long time ago when I was a cuck, I used to watch videos on YouTube called AMV Hell, and it's just a bunch of AMVs, and one of them, somebody took that song and split it with this music video, and I was like, oh, that's kind of funny, and then it was 10 seconds later, I'm on to the fucking One Piece AMV, and I'm like, oh god.
Oh god, the One Piece.
I used to watch a lot of AMVs, and the one that I saw that they did with Blue was a Sailor Mercury tribute with I'm Blue.
Oh. That works. That's another good,
really
yeah.
Well, yeah. So yeah, in a way, this whole thing is sort of like just watching an AMV compilation, just a really long AMV compilation.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I guess if we're taking off
Were we tagging it? Was this official? I didn't know.
I think, I found out about it because I was into anime, and one of my friends was like, oh, have you ever seen this Daft Punk music video? It's anime. And I was like, really? No way. And I eventually caught it on, I think one of them was on TV, and I think it might have been Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger.
Oh yeah, that's probably, that was a super popular AMV song.
Yeah, so I caught that one on TV, and then I didn't see any of the rest of it for a long time. I had no idea that it was a movie or anything until probably 10 or 15 years later.
Well, I think I heard the music back in the early 2000s. I probably saw the music video, like at least the first part, around the same time. Just this one, just Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, because that's the big track of the album. I saw that one video because I had a friend who was super hardcore into anime, and because of the animation style, I thought this was like early 90s stuff. I didn't realize this was like 2003 that this movie came out.
Oh, yeah.
But this song always reminds me of Stronger by Kanye West, and it kind of disgusts me that it even does. But at the same rate, yeah, it is the song.
You're there, you're cutting out.
What was that?
There you go, you're back. You were cutting out.
Oh. Well, it's not going to cut out on the video or the audio on my end, so sex with nipples.
There we go.
But they did use that song in a remix for Kanye West, that Stronger, Better, Faster, Stronger song. That don't kill me. Will only
Like,
make you
this
stronger.
Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger was so good that not even Kanye could really screw it up. I mean, it's the inferior version of the song, but it's like the best I've heard of Kanye.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that was a Black Eyed Peas song for the longest time too, because it sounds kind of Black Eyed Peas-esque.
Little bit. Whatever happened to the Black Eyed Peas? I know, like, the last thing Fergie did was MILF Money.
I don't know. All I know is Will.I.am made a fucking website, and every single time you clicked anywhere on the goddamn website, you just get a different picture of fucking Will.I.am. Like the things at the bottom of the screen, Will.I.am. The things at the top of the screen, the banner advertisements, Will.I.am. You go across like the fucking taskbar, you click on something, it would be a drop down. The drop down would have the thing you're looking for and another picture of Will.I.am. And then at the bottom, it would be like a deck of cards, sort of like stacking method of having a bunch of different information. Hover over one, Will.I.am. Hover over another one, Will.I.am in a blazer. Hover over another one, Will.I.am with a dog. Be like, what the fuck? I'm getting sick and tired of seeing you, Will.I.am. So I visited his website again recently, took another gander, took all the photos down.
Yeah, because I'm on the official website right now, and it's all gone. You know what? No matter how you feel about Will.I.am, he's got the Tour vibe going on, something fierce. He's kind of this generation's Yoko Ono. You don't have to get it.
Don't you ever say that again.
I like Yoko.
I hate you so much right now.
Did either of you guys ever see a called Icon? That it was a movie, and I think it was a project between Will.I.am and Instella, and it was like self-fiction era gang wars, and like there were I think almost
Yep.
zero white people in the entire movie, which was cool, and it had some
Let's
really
see.
really great music.
You had some cool people in it,
Like
but
a lot of jazz.
it wasn't Will.I.am. We're talking about Andre 3000 here.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever happened to Andre 3000? I liked that guy.
He made a lot of money and he went, I don't need to keep making money, and then he stopped.
I can respect that.
At least that's what I know. That's what I think. Let's find out, ladies and gentlemen.
We have the internet.
What is Andre
I'll let you look
3000
that
up
up.
to now? Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Interstella
Mm-mm.
4. Can we just call it 4 or 5?
We can call it whatever we want. Looks like the last thing he did was television.
Well, I know he did a kid show like on Cartoon Network for a little while.
Let me take a look into that.
Oh.
Let's see if
But yeah, so Interstella. I guess if you do the whole plot summary, let's see. They get kidnapped, they're taken to Earth, and they have mind control things put in sunglasses that they have to wear, and they get really really popular. But there's one alien guy who comes to Earth to try to free them. Um, Eventually, he's able to free 3 out of 4 people of the band, and then a woman is left. But he gets shot in freeing the other 3 people, and then the other 3 people of the band manage to free the woman, and then one of them gets turned back into blue skin, and so the band is all back together, but the guy that rescued them dies, and they bury him, and then
he turns into a space ghost.
Yeah, he turns into a space ghost, and then they go to the guy who kidnaps them castle. Oh, and this is after they won a Grammy, basically.
Nathan Fillion?
And no, the guy's castle.
Yeah, the Deadwood, I think his name was, because you saw his name on his business card, and then you see the signs for Deadwood Manor, and you find out he's actually like this immortal alchemist, Darkwood.
Yeah.
He's this immortal alchemist who's been contacting aliens and having them steal space musicians for him, so he can build some sort of doomsday weapon out of gold records.
Yeah, 5,555
So
record awards.
Like
it's not Nathan Fillion. Is this joke just flying over?
I don't know where you're pulling Nathan, like Space Cowboy?
Because I said castle, and then he's
Ah.
Nathan Fillion.
It'll always be Captain Reynolds to me.
It would be kind of cool if he was.
Or Captain Hammer.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that. Nathan Fillion can voice anything, and I'll probably just get half chub and be like, that's pleasant.
Yeah. And then, the bad guy falls into lava, but revives anyway, and the space ghost kills him.
And then, yeah, because he tries to follow them into space.
Oh yeah, the Earth was the most surprising part of the movie to me was that when Earth realized that this band of theirs is actually aliens, they were like, "Oh, okay, let's do everything we can and come together to send them home." So I was like, "Wow, that's a really optimistic view of what would happen." Not like freaking out because there's aliens, but
Right, they're all super chill about that.
They were just all super chill. They're like, "Oh, that's cool. You're aliens? Yeah. Well, we'll help you get home."
We'll help you get home on your spaceship shaped like an electric guitar.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what happened. But then the bad guy comes back and tries to follow them into space,
But then Space Cop Ghost shows up
and saves the day.
and saves the day.
And then they get home, and everybody lives happily ever after, and they build a statue of the red guy's face. Yeah.
Yes.
You keep saying Space Ghost, and it just reminds me of the old animation Space
The
Ghost.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Heck yeah, baby!
Like,
All the good
I need to go
edits
watch
of that on Adult Swim.
Well, I was too young for that when it came out, because I was like 7, 8 when that started debuting. Hold on, let me check that. Let me check in on this.
Oh man, you're such a baby.
I'm even younger.
What? You're younger than Nomad is?
He almost said his name.
Again.
1994, so I was 4 years old when this show dropped. So
Oh,
definitely too young. Definitely too young to get Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
I'm 3 years younger than that, so I am far too young.
I feel old. Well, no, not really. I spend a lot of time in chat rooms on Amino, which seems to be entirely populated by 14-15-year-olds as far as I can tell.
Wait a minute. Explain this to me. What chat room? Doing what?
There is a social networking app for your phone called Amino, and you join various Aminos based on fandom. So, like, as part of the Yaoi Amino, as part of Fantasy Amino, some others.
Is it
What's worse than Yaoi that you
that
can't
I'm
talk
sitting
about?
here like,
You're like, oh yeah, I'm fine with
I'm
talking about the Yaoi chat rooms. What are the ones you're not gonna? What's the ones you're not talking about?
No, it's just that there's a bunch of them. I'll list them if you want. We got LGBT plus size, Japanese learning, and Futurama.
everything cut out?
You there?
Hello?
Hello? She cut her own mic to avoid self-incrimination.
You can't hear me?
Hello? She's on the Skype?
I'm on the Skype.
She is.
You're on the Skype.
She is
We're on
not
the
look like
Skype.
she is on the Skype.
She lost the Skype. We lost all the Skype.
No, according to this, she's still on.
She's on the Skype. She's not making
Oh,
the sound,
hello.
though.
You back?
I don't know. But I'm downloading this Amino because it sounds like a good bit of fun. Definitely going to open this up and take a game.
I am going to take partial...
I want to get on chat room with a bunch of children.
I'm going to take partial blame for this. I follow a guy on YouTube named Lockston, and he is sponsored by Amino. And they're this little social networking app. And Ivy mentioned that she was looking for a new social media thing, and I was just like, hey, let's go download Amino together, and we'll see what all this is all about. And then I just never touched it, so I felt really bad, like I left her in the lurch. But evidently she's into it, so...
Well, that's all that matters. Sounds like a good marketing strat, too.
I mean, if we had sponsors, which we're probably never going to get after, like, bat boob porn.
Hey, I mean, look at Funhouse. And I don't feel scared about putting myself out there on the internet.
But I mean, that's this guy's job. All the Rooster Teeth views, like, they have to be vulgar for a living. We are not that good at being vulgar.
Well, I am, if you didn't listen to what I just said earlier.
Well, I'm gonna try and get Ivy back in here. Did she vanish off
That's
your
all that
Skype too?
matters. She's still showing as active on my. Oh wait, yeah, she's gone now. Never mind.
Let me try this again. Got some professional standards right here. Hello? You there? There you go. We lost you. Were you destroying evidence?
She's getting up her amino, dude. Let her get her amino acids up.
Okay, so what happened was, my internet cut out. It does this sometimes where it just randomly decides to disconnect for a minute or two. And, yeah, so that's fun.
Yeah.
But, so you can hear me
Yeah, you're coming
now?
through.
Everything's fine. Okay. Yeah, so the other aminos I belong to are like, LGBT, plus size, Futurama, Babylon 5, and the Japanese learning amino.
I need to jump on
where
Futurama.
I don't actually.
I need to jump on the Futurama.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing really going on there. Like, if you go to aminos that for things that are no longer producing new stuff, then it, there's not really a lot of activity on there.
Give it like a month and we'll start
most-
seeing more Futurama
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm looking at this right now, and it looks like everything has to be relatively recent for you to be able to even post about it. But I joined the Battlefield one and put my freaking shameless self promotion on there, and see how that ends up working out.
So there we go. Amino, we'd like a sponsor, please.
That's right. We're in here talking good smack about your product, boy.
We are.
But I'm always like the oldest person in any of the chat rooms on there that I join. I mean, it's always like, it seems like teenagers, maybe some college students, but almost nobody who's older.
It's worth noting that the head of the Futurama corner of Amino, his screen name is Edgy Meme Lord.
That makes me happy on the inside.
Oh god, and it's lists other people in the app. The fourth one down is a Sonic OC.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
But yeah, I spend most of my time in the Japanese only chat room and in the English help chat on the Japanese amino, trying to help people with their English.
Well, that's very nice of you.
Yeah, that one actually has the oldest residents of any of the chats I've been to on amino. Like, so I'm actually not the oldest one there, and I think that's the only chat room where that's the case, quite possibly.
I mean, it's still a good time. I like the content that you can find on chats and stuff. I started going on Reddit and joined some YouTuber communities on there, and let me tell you, they're fucking trash. I guarantee you, there's the worst goddamn things you could ever go to. It's just a bunch of self-promoting cucks who don't even watch each other's videos. They'll come in and do what they call a hit and run. Drop their link, not even view anybody else's stuff for a critique, and just leave. I'm sitting over here critiquing people's videos left and right, trying to give good comments and advice. I post my shit in there, be like, can you guys critique me? Zero fucking shit. So it just makes me want to go over there and jam a big ol' hot rod down their throat until it comes out their pooter, and then flip them around, and then stick them on top of a tree and go, hey, look at this douche. He's a happy guy. He's dead now.
Wow.
That's like Bloodhound Gang levels of revenge. That's like it belongs in a lyric of I Hope You Die. Levels of creativity there.
Let's go see if there's a Daft Punk amino.
Stuff. I'm sure there is.
Let's go check that out.
Actually, you know what? I'm sure there isn't.
I don't know. So amino, like, if you're looking for some really dubious recommends, if you could totally sponsor us, so we can actually become like, get on some like proper podcasting platforms and not just YouTube because we're broke. That would be great. That would be great.
Yeah. And just ignore my threats and edit them out. before you post them, Sam. That way we can actually get the capability of doing so.
Yeah, so
But
I hear you're into this, Amino, so we're totally popular with a grand total of 78 people.
We're
Right,
into you.
yeah.
You're into
Oh,
us.
but
Let's make
I
this happen.
think I brought it up because I was trying to explain my weird. Yeah, I'm in chat rooms with 14-year-olds all the time. Comment.
We were trying to get you away from that, like we were kind of trying to like breadcrumb you away from that, and that you just Kool-Aid man right back into there.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I'm 31, and so sometimes I start to feel old when I'm chatting with people where I'm technically old enough to be their mom. And
Do we need to lose this
every once in
episode?
a while,
Does this need to be a lost episode?
no, but like, so every once in a while chatting with you, Sam, I'm like, oh yeah, I have a friend who's like 5 years younger than me, and now Devin is younger than that. And the thing is that I'm not
your
used to
friend.
this position because I always hung out with people who are a lot older than me. I mean, my husband is like 8.5 years older than me.
Damn, you went up on that. That's a good idea. He probably got money.
Oh. Oh.
He's a lot of things. Rich is not one of them. If anything, he married into money. But,
He's rich in fabulous wifage.
Oh, well, thank you.
Also,
But,
terrific
yeah,
wang.
so it's
Not much makes me laugh. That definitely got me.
I do sometimes tell him about the weirdest yaoi plots I come across, so I guess that might be truer than you know.
Dude, okay. Shameful confession here.
Have we just given up on Daft
back
Punk
in middle
then?
school. There's only so much you can talk about blue people, music, yada yada yada.
I will say the one thing I noticed, and one thing I noticed is that most of when they dye them human colors, there was one black guy, and he was the one guy who got roughed up by security and tased.
Oh yeah,
there is that. Like I maybe I've just been spending too much time on social justice stuff, but I'm like,
Yeah.
well, fuck, I can't unsee that. And the girl throughout the whole thing is basically just the girl. She gets saved a lot. She doesn't have a whole lot going on there.
Yeah, it's the two. I mean, yeah. And it was sort of weird how it's like, oh, it's a super fan that goes and saves them.
Right, because Space Cop has a poster of her hanging above his bed, and he's got like a bunch of dolls of the band members all around his spaceship bedroom. And then he gets an alert. It's like, oh my god, my band's in trouble, and he has to rocket his guitar-shaped spaceship away.
And so that struck me as a little bit not good as well.
The band is in trouble. I've got to rocket my guitar-shaped spaceship away. God damn.
And then, not to mention later, I was thinking so do dying alien people have psychic powers to enter another person's mind and have a shared trip, or what is going on here? Because the space cop is dying, and the other people rescued the girl and brought her over to him, and she's I guess really touched by his heroism or whatever.
Well,
and then
but
and then they go on this shared dream together or something.
Yeah, that does happen, but you can have that happen in real life too. It's called salvia.
I don't think you would have the same dream as someone else, though, would you?
I don't know. Have you tried salvia?
I haven't tried.
Of course, for Nowhere legally does not endorse drug use.
No,
Surprisingly, I have not really tried any illegal drugs to speak of.
Not even pot.
No, I'm super lame. I haven't either. Which is weird because so many of my friends were stoners in high school, and I just never. I never did any of that. I hadn't even done cigarettes before. Like, true story. At my middle school, there's a group of kids who started smoking, and I knew a couple of them. And I tried to go see what they were doing, like on the other side of the school, over by the playground that nobody uses. And as I was getting close, they all scattered. And I found out later on that day, they thought I was a teacher.
It was the fedora, wasn't it?
No, because I didn't have that. I was like 12, 13.
Oh, good.
At that point, it was all like, fucking, what was I wearing? It was all just like silkscreen t-shirts and cargo pants.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of high school me fashion, the one guy in the band, the lead guitarist with like the ripped up red shirt and like the black pants and like the wristbands, that was my fashion in high school. That was it, right there.
Thank God, because I thought I was the only one.
Because I was watching it, well, I used to have bands just like that, and yeah, red's my favorite color, and I never wore sleeves if I didn't have to, and I had a bunch of black pants, and that's me. That is my fashion on an anime.
Had a distinct fashion. What always got me was all the scene kids and trip kids and emos and everything, and it always made me chuckle. That was my favorite. I don't mean to ever make fun of somebody to actually like harm them or make them feel bad about themselves, but I'll be goddamned if it doesn't make me chuckle, and if it doesn't make me hoot and holler every once in a while to see somebody trying to act all hard when they've got like the snake bites and then blue hair parted sideways. I just want to lose it every time.
Yeah, like
what are you gonna do, kid? Hit me with your damn skateboard?
What the fuck happened?
Wait, that's right. It's a longboard. My bad.
It makes me think of have you guys ever heard of Daft?
No,
never.
Is that an old person thing? I think you're an old person.
Shut up.
Burn.
Yeah.
Like, is that from the silent film era?
Oh. Fucking burn.
He's a Japanese singer. He used to be part of a goth band called Malice Miser, and then he went solo. And when I was in Japan, I saw an interview with him on TV, and the way they do these interviews, they'd like decorate the stage for that particular person with like meaningful stuff. And so Yak's portion of the stage was like all gold and roses and really goth and everything. And he came out and had this persona, and they'd be asking him questions, and he'd have this really serious face. And then he'd say something, and he'd be trying so hard not to laugh, and the whole audience would laugh. And it was so cute, the face he'd make of trying so hard not to laugh. And so that's how I feel a lot of times when I see those kinds of emo and goth people. I'm just imagining that face of like, I'm really trying to be serious, but it is definitely not.
You know who doesn't have that problem? Daft Punk, because their faces are always behind the masks.
Yeah, did you notice their cameo?
I did, and I
like
watched an interview with them afterwards, and it was so great because they stayed in character the whole time, and they talked about how they were cutting this album, and then something went wrong with the recording equipment, and it like damaged them, and so they got rebuilt as cyborgs, and that's how they've been doing all of their music since. So they're making the music more robotic because now they're cyborgs, and they committed to it so much, and they sounded so just sincere about how much they loved it, and they were totally fanboying over getting to work with Toei Studios, who did all the animation.
I like how they had the little happy question mark appear on the one guy's helmet,
right?
And then the other one has like, I don't know, I think a heart or something in response.
Something like that.
And it was very cute, very cute. I also love that idea that like nobody knows what they actually look like, so they like being able to go out in public and not be recognized.
I know Bernie from Rooster Teeth made a joke that you could just dress up like Daft Punk and grab some speakers and an iPod and just say you're like a surprise concert, and no one could argue with you so long as you got the costumes right.
Right. But my other thought was, wait, these are Daft Punk songs, and like the Crescendos are famous for a Daft Punk song, but Daft Punk also exists wouldn't the movie Daft Punk be like, hey, you shit stole our song?
Maybe Daft Punk stole it from the aliens. Did you ever think of that?
Oh.
They're robots
yeah,
now. They can pick up all sorts of signals with their robot parts, and maybe they stole some space signals and made space music.
Wow. There's a thought.
So, one thing that kept bothering me while I was watching the movie is, why did they need to kidnap them to get them to come to Earth? Bands love going on tour. Like, all you probably had to say was just, hey, would you want to come, like, do you want to go to a different planet and spread your music across the stars? And I'm sure they would have just gone willingly.
Right, yeah. Quite possible.
I mean, maybe they were just with
I was
another
trying-
label? That's the only thing I can come up with.
I was trying throughout the whole thing to turn it into, like, a metaphor for making it big and selling out and being unhappy when you're at the top, and then finally just going back to your roots and being happy again.
Probably. I'm not sure if it's meant to be read in that much.
Yeah, I don't think it is, because
I
there's
do.
a lot of the plot that doesn't work with that interpretation, but that's kind of how I was feeling about the whole thing, I guess.
No, I think it's meant to be viewed that way. And I'm
You
not
do?
going to back it up. I'm not going to talk about it. I just think it, and that's it.
I mean, that's on par with the rest of the standards of this show. Why the fuck not?
That's right. Well, in all reality, I think it is because, alright, but you're going to have to view it from the female band member's perspective.
Okay.
So let's look at it like this. At the beginning, they're getting their digs in. They're popular within their little circle. But they want to be bigger. And in order to do so, they have to deal with that guy who wants all the golden records. And it's a trial and tribulation because they're really popular with a lot of people, but they've got to deal with that guy. So the only way to get out of it is to fake their own death, essentially. Like, in a way, not fake their own death, but actually, like, die a little bit on the inside to get out of that entire situation. And I want to think of that guy, the galactic protector policeman, as like the female band member's boyfriend that she had to give up in order to pursue her career of music stardom. And that happened. He passed away. And then she realized that it wasn't worth it. And they didn't want to do that anymore. They returned to their habits. And everybody still liked them anyhow.
I'm not sure if I'd read it like that, because she gets mind wiped before he even enters the picture for her. So she didn't give him up to get that fame. She was already kidnapped, she was already brainwashed, and then he came into the picture, and then they have, like, 2 scenes together, and then he's dead.
Sometimes things are fleeting.
Which I know I feel like it seems like I'm ripping on this movie for being so broad and using all of these tropes, but it actually really works to its advantage here, because there's very little dialogue, not even any sound effects. I think there's like 2 or 3 sound effects throughout the entire thing. And so they want something that reads very clearly, very easily. And so in this situation, I feel like falling back on those tropes absolutely did it a favor, because it makes the whole thing that much easier to digest as you're going through, especially one that has such a strange plot as evil wizard kidnaps aliens for gold records.
Right. And I was also like, I just had to laugh when they had the part where they're like implying that, I guess, Beethoven or Mozart or somebody was actually an alien.
Right. Well, it was like Mozart. Hold on, I've got the. They actually listed this on the IMDb page, because I was looking up stuff about this because I'm trying to be all professional and shit. Trying so hard. You guys are weighing me down. Here we go. Did you know some more?
And so, yeah, it really is. The whole plot of it does strike me as very quintessentially anime.
Here we go. The aliens, the musicians that were actually aliens, were Mozart, Jimi Hendrix, Ella Fitzgerald, Janis Joplin, and Jimmy Page.
That's it?
So if you ever want to see anime Janet Joplin, anime Jimmy Page, anime Hendrix.
Yeah. But how did that result in 5,500?
I guess all music Earthlings have ever liked is actually aliens. Does it have to be gold records? Can't it just be gold? Like, I feel like it'd be easier just to dig up some gold.
And surely the Grammys haven't existed that long. I mean, right?
Right? I don't know. Like, maybe I got nothing. I don't.
Ariana Grande, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it doesn't. If you try to look at it with any kind of logic, it doesn't make sense.
This is definitely not something you're supposed to think too hard about.
Yeah, you're just not supposed to think that.
You're supposed to lie back. You're supposed to like get down to the electronica, and you're gonna groove on the visuals.
No, I gotta say that it's really pleasant to see a music video concept that spans an entire album and is just really relaxed, and the music is very good, and the animation is very good too. I nerded out on this, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know you're a music guy.
I think.
Yes, I am a very huge music guy. I mean, my interests span everything from ska with the mighty mighty boss tones to rap, hip hop with death grips, and then rock opera sort of stuff with the Mars Volta, and just I listen to every damn thing that I come across, and I haven't listened to much Daft Punk. I've always heard of them, but I usually don't go for the tropes and things that I see people enjoying a lot, because I am a hipster in that fashion. I think that if everybody really likes it, it's probably not that good. And as I grow up, I'm realizing that I'm wrong in some cases. There's a lot of really great bands out there who are very popular, have a big fan base for a reason, not because they sold out, but because they got their digs in, they worked hard, and then they became great musicians and great artists for it. Daft Punk is one of those examples to me. They're just phenomenal when it comes down to the electronic music and production value, and they actually put thought into their music and into their media that they put their music in. This music video is a prime example of that. They wanted to take something that I feel they enjoyed, which was this anime sort of thing, and then inject their own flavor into it, but still keep it nostalgic in a way too. And it came across really well as somebody who likes music and likes anime.
Right. Well, I watched the interview with them, and at least the Frenchman made a big point of saying success for them is not accolades, it is not money. Success for them is them being able to make the music that they like. And they just love making music, and they said their favorite part of making that music isn't even the recording, it's the just sitting down together and coming up with ideas and experimenting and jamming together. And then eventually, once they got big enough, somewhere they got the idea to approach Toei, and they were absolutely fanboying out over this this director they got to work on this music video with them, because they grew up watching a lot of the anime that he had put out, because it's made its way over to France, where they grew up watching it. So this was this is to them as good as it gets, because they're making the music they care about with an idol they've had since they were kids.
That is really cool. If I could make YouTube videos with Funhouse, I'd probably lose my shit.
Right?
And then I was thinking as I was watching it, I think that maybe there have been videos that I liked better in terms of storytelling, that I think told a more compelling tale. But what's unique about this is how it spans an entire album, that there isn't, like, a lot of the things that accomplish storytelling well are using the lyrics of the song as part of the storytelling. And for the most part, I mean, a lot of Daft Punk's music doesn't have much in the way of lyrics, so they weren't able to rely on that for any storytelling elements. And so I think that is, for me, what makes this unique, is, that they span the whole album, and they didn't really have any words that they could rely on for it. And I really respect it for that reason, and I think it was just a really cool project that they did well.
I know with Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger,
I agree.
there are so few lyrics to that song that someone actually just wrote like one lyric on each finger and then they just spelled out the entire song along with it by just showing different fingers. I think if you look up Daft Hands.
Yes, I love that video. I do. There's also Daft Girls, where they wrote the words on like their arms and legs and put boxes on their heads and do a dance showing the words on their arms and
I
legs.
think I saw this
and
one.
Sides, yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw that
So,
video.
it's fun.
I had to look up Daft Hands. Sorry about that.
It's alright. I kind of want to go look up Daft Hands right now too.
But in conclusion, as far as this video is concerned, like I really did enjoy Daft Punk, and I'm definitely going to be checking out some of their works and probably picking up an LP of theirs or so.
Can you get an LP of Daft Punk?
You can get an LP of anything.
I don't know, man. I've been going MP3s, like, because I don't.
Sam, you have to come over and listen to music on my record player.
Here's the thing. When it comes to music, I know what I like, and like higher audio quality is wasted on me because I'm just as happy with the like shit MP3 version as the LP version. I like LPs. I had like a modest record collection for a while, and I loved it. And I did like some of the scratches and the pops. And one thing I love to do is just whenever I had the time, which was not often, I'd occasionally just like put on. Usually it was Bowie. Sometimes it was the Beatles, and just like grab a glass of wine and just like chill out on my couch and just groove to records every now and again.
Well, when you're talking about a record player, what kind of record player are we talking here?
It was some reproduction thing that came out in the mid 2000s. It was supposed to look like an old school record player, but then when
Get
you
the fuck outta
actually
here. No, you gotta come over and you gotta listen to it on my album LP.
when you actually
Like literally when you sit in between the stereo monitors and you have the amplifier turned up to the right amount, if you close your eyes, if you're listening to classical music, you can pick out the oboes where they would be. You can pick out the violins where they'd be. And you can pick out the drums and the timpani. It's like the music is in front of you. It's like you're in it. And when you get an artist like Daft Punk, or you get an artist like, I don't know, fucking Jimmy Page, you mentioned him earlier, Led Zeppelin, somebody who's got good audio editing, they do the same thing. It's incredible.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
And I might just be talking from my point of view because I like it. But until you've heard a good audio setup, you can't bash it.
Well, I'm not saying that it's bad or that it shouldn't be. I'm saying that is a level of fidelity that probably goes way beyond what I'm going to be able to notice.
No.
I will say I'm somewhere in between, I guess, your two extremes,
Like, I
mean,
go ahead.
I appreciate good quality, and I'll never forget I had the opportunity in middle school to join the all-state choir, and singing the songs in the hall that we were in, that it was, a choir of 100 students maybe, that had all been chosen, after an audition stage, and so from all over the state, and the acoustics in that hall were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, it was like a transcendent experience hearing the choir in that music hall.
Hell yeah. Hey,
And so, yeah.
You're so lucky you got to do that. That's really incredible.
In my middle school choir, it was mandatory, and nobody bothered to learn all the lyrics at once. But but what was funny is that everyone kind of remembered different parts of it, so you're only hearing like 60% of the choir sing at any given time. But because somehow we all managed to do this weird thing where everyone kind of knew some of the lyrics, you could never tell because only like 60% at any given time. Because it was like all the proper people had gone to band because they had started younger, and my parents said my grades weren't good enough to join band, so I got sent to choir.
Aw.
I got sent to choir, and that was a train wreck.
Well, this was like I said, it was from all over the state, and you had to go through an audition thing first. So, you know, that's very, very different from just one school and it being mandatory.
Yeah, right. Well, as far as like
yeah.
music was concerned for me when I was growing up, it was my biggest out for anything. And it's just where I went to chill and escape, especially with all the problems I was having when I was younger. And now when I've grown up, I'm like, alright, it's cool to listen to these songs again. And then I made the fucking dumb mistake of going to an audio store and checking out a system where it was an a record player turntable that was like $5,000. And then an amplifier and speakers that were bigger than Bigfoot's dick. And I sat in front of those things and fucking lost my shekels. It was so good. And now I'm chasing it. And now I'm like, I'm never gonna be there.
Right, don't bring us down with you.
No, you will come out, you will smoke a spliff, and you will check the shit
No,
out with me. And you're gonna
no, don't do it, man. Don't get me hooked.
No, my downfall is going to the piano store and going and checking out the really, really high-end electronic grand pianos that have such an amazing feel, and they sound so amazing because it's actually encased in this big acoustic case, and it frankly just sounds as good or better than an actual grand piano, and I'm like, God, I want this thing so bad.
Heck yeah, you get a good Yamaha or Roland, and it's like, oh
and
my
it's
god.
Like, and it's like it's like $5,000, for one of those things, and it's like, no.
Why, my vice is...
Yeah.
I just have my $250 keyboard set up in the guest bedroom.
Right.
On a stand that won't stay still. Whenever I play it, it's like rocking towards me whenever I push it. If I'm playing too hard, my music is flapping around.
That's glorious.
Oh no.
My roommate's actually a piano tech, so she's got one of those really nice, really sophisticated keyboards. And then she's got we get Piano Tuners Guild stuff in the mail, and I'm actually about 3 feet away from a disassembled harpsichord right now.
I want to come visit you now.
I'm sure she'd love to take you through all the piano stuff.
Yeah, I bet she would. We went to Williamsburg a while back, and one of the coolest things to me that they had there was I think it was in the art museum. They had this display of pianos through the ages, and like the evolution of the instrument, and you could listen to recordings of those instruments, having been played, and it was
That's
awesome.
cool. I know growing up, my mom was lucky enough to have one of her great-grandmother's pianos, and it was the small one. I think it was only a 4-octave piano, but it was like, it didn't look like a baby grand or anything like that. It looked kind of rectangular, and the back of it was like tall. And I can't remember what kind of piano that would be.
It's not just an upright?
No, well, you could sit at it. It was like, alright, you would sit at it, and looking right at it, you'd be able to play, and you'd have the sheet music in front of you, and then behind where the sheet music was, it was like flat, and it went down below, down to where the piano was. And then when you went straight back, it jutted up. Like it would go at a 90-degree angle and then go up.
That may have been a square piano, I think they're called.
It sounded really
sure.
good, too. I think you're right.
Yeah, that's an old style.
Mm-hmm.
From long before. I mean, I think that was like right before the advent of upright pianos.
Look into it.
You guys ready to be super ashamed of me?
What?
You guys ready to be super ashamed of me? My paternal grandmother was actually a church organist and a piano teacher, and she had an upright piano and a full-on organ in her place. And she tried to teach me as a kid, and I was so fidgety that she just gave up on me after like a week.
Aww.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Well, that's not really fair though, because I mean, a lot of
I want to say I was like 6 or 7 when she tried to teach me.
yeah, and it's hard to have that kind of concentration. I mean, I've tried to teach like pretty young children, and at that age, you're kind of just babysitting for a little while rather than making a whole lot of progress and trying to teach them.
I could find middle
Yeah.
C, and that's about the extent of my piano knowledge.
Well, my mom was a
think
piano
you just-
player too, and she never even fucking taught me any of it because I wasn't listening. I was like, I want an obnoxious instrument. 5 years later, trombone.
Yeah, I was. I think you just needed a more patient teacher, to be honest. No offense to your grandma, but yeah, I just it was one of those things that I stuck with, and I really wasn't always very good about studying and practicing regularly. But it was kind of because my piano teacher at the time was kind of like, I could tell you didn't practice this. Is it because you don't really like it, or because you didn't have time, or why? And I'd tell her why, and if it was just because other things got in the way, we might spend a little more time on it. But if it was because I didn't really like it, she'd be like, it's okay if we just move on from here. And so that was a teaching style that really worked for me well. But anyway.
Right. So at 1:06 right now, the podcast is actually longer than if you were to sit down and watch Interstella 4 or 5 start to finish.
Woo!
Take that, Daft Punk. Like, I'm sure it took you months, if not years, to make that whole album and movie. We schooled you in 67 minutes. What now? Clearly, we are now objectively better than Daft Punk.
Daft Punk, baby. I mean, what else can I say? There ain't much else to talk about when it comes down to Daft Punk, but I can go off on a tangent about Fruity Loops.
About what?
That's a recording software,
Fruity
right?
Loops. Yeah, it is, but it's also a cereal where you can pour milk on them and watch them eat themselves.
Wasn't that Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
No, sorry, that was Querios.
Wait, what? Do not make me Google Querios.
Querios. It's the cereal that you pour milk on them and you watch them eat each other.
You know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to Google that. I don't need that in my browser history.
It's not real. It's just a joke.
Okay. You know what? They can sell your browser history now, so now I'm being super careful.
Oh my god.
I am being nowhere near careful.
You know what just happened earlier? I was like showing my husband one of those clickbait articles that has funny pictures, and so I was showing those to him, and then he saw a sponsored ad for me. And I guess and I was like, oh, this must be one of the dangers of just showing people stuff on your phone, because they'll see your sponsored ad. And at the top of that ad, it had butts galore.
That's glorious.
That's such a perfect mixture of juvenile and adult humor.
Butts galore.
Butts galore.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Like the funniest. Oh my god,
I
that's.
scroll down and start laughing. And like, what? And he's like, I saw butts galore at the bottom of the screen, and I had to scroll down and see what that was about.
You need to send me a screenshot of this.
And it was a sponsored ad for a manga reading app that, apparently they got yaoi for me on that manga reading app.
That's phenomenal.
And their way of advertising this was butts galore.
They're taking the Tina Belcher approach to advertising them?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh my god, that's
I
glorious.
think we should probably end on that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, like, I can't think of a better note to end on than that. Other than butts galore. Holy
That's
fuck.
so rich.
Should we lose this episode? Does this need to be a lost episode? I feel like it doesn't.
Good night.
Good night.
I don't know.
Maybe.